Calypso Classic is on every Monday from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. on your Calypso Radio, DBS. Join the host, Raven Blackmore, as he highlights the best in calypsos over the years. Speak to musicians, writers, and calypsonians on Calypso Classic every Monday from 9 p.m. on DBS Radio. Tune in.
'Cause I love you, Kaiso. I really love you, Kaiso, Kaiso. No battalion could keep this love underground. Nobody's boss could keep this.
Before God and all mankind, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the Commonwealth of Dominica and the sovereign republic for which it stands. My love, my loyalty, and skills in the service of Dominica and my fellow citizens. I promise to work diligently and to help build a prosperous and peaceful nation.
Tout vendredi avec tout nom, mon ka promettre pour de bout pour drapeau Dominique avec République indépendante qui représenter. L'amour moins, commitment moins, avec talent moins, en service Dominica avec les autres citoyens même comme moi. Mon ka promettre pour travailler bien word pour aider bâtir une nation prospérité avec la paix.
We bring you the power.
Domlec is keeping you updated as we work to restore full generation capacity. Join us every Monday and Friday at 12 noon on DBS Radio, Kyrie FM, and Voice of Life Radio, and at 12:30 p.m. on Q95 and DA Vibes for updates on our progress for more reliable and efficient service. Tune in every Monday and Friday.
We bring you the.
On that note, we say good afternoon to Adina Bellot Valentine for another Domlec Power Talk. Adina, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, Kimara. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Loud and clear.
Thank you so much. We are live on DBS Radio as well as Kyrie FM and Voice of Life Radio. And the program will be recorded to be aired at 12:30 on Q95 and DA Vibes. As is customary, we are on this special program every Monday and Friday as we keep our customers updated as to where we are with the capacity management issue and the whole issue surrounding the capacity management issue that's been going on for a while. And we have some areas that are out at this time, unscheduled, and we do apologize for that. And that is due, of course, to a lack of capacity to be able to serve all our customers at this time. As soon as capacity is restored in terms of getting more on, we will be restoring the areas that are out. And we're talking about Emzol all the way back, Eggleston, Girardel, Castle Comfort, Loubier, Point Michel, all the way to Scott's Head, and the Snow Corner to Granby, as well as certain sections of the East Coast. Those areas were not scheduled to be out this morning, but as I said, due to a lack of capacity and having to manage the little that we have, we have had to take some persons out. Okay, enough of my talking. Let me introduce my guest, Paul Moses. Paul Moses is our commercial manager. Good afternoon to you, Paul, and welcome to the program.
Good afternoon, Adina, and welcome to all listeners of this program.
Of course, and our viewers, we know we are live on the DBS social media Facebook page, so we get right into it. Paul, today we want to focus on claims because we have been having a number of claims coming in while we do this whole capacity management process. What constitutes a claim, though? What would you constitute as a claim?
A claim comes about when a customer indicates to us that they have suffered some damage to some electrical appliance as a result of an outage. The voltage hikes that are created when there are outages, sometimes lead to damages to customers' equipment. So when a customer has indicated to us that such an event has happened and some equipment get damaged, there is a particular form that they must fill. They come to the office, fill the form. We have that form online as well. In the course of this program, I will give some contact number and email address where they can reach us at Domlec to get information regarding those claims.
What exactly, in terms of the form, what is on the form that the customer has to fill out? Some of the information that is on the form that the customer needs to provide us.
Well, their name, of course, the address, very important, the time of the incident. So customers must make note of the approximate, if not the exact time of the incident, because we do keep records and we can determine whether in fact there was a particular fault, an event at the particular time that the customer has indicated. So they must state the time, they must describe the appliance, they must indicate the age of the appliance and try to be as exact as possible about the age. So if you have a fridge that you have had for 3.5 years, indicate 3.5 years, or just over 3 years, things to that effect. So give us a description of the age of the appliance, its make. You must sign the form, and with this information, we can start, processing your claim. Of course, as important as well is your contact details. We need contact numbers. If you are not going to be at a particular number that you have given to us, put an alternate number so we can reach you. Because we have had occasion of customers complaining that we have not been reaching them. And when we call those numbers, we do not get them. So give an alternate number. I should also indicate there are customers whom we have called. But you see, when we call from certain Domlec telephones, it registers on customers' phones as unknown. So the caller is not identified. And I remember speaking to a particular customer, and when he complained that we never reached him, I told him that we tried to call you on a number of occasions. But he told me, well, when I explained this thing about unknown, he told me he doesn't take calls that he doesn't recognize. If he sees it as unknown, he simply does not take it.
And so that's important. That's important. Yeah. That's important. So, okay. So, Paul, you mentioned earlier that the customer must give us a time as to when the outage may have occurred, the possible damage to the equipment. But what if they are not home? What happens? If the customer is not home when the power goes out or when it comes back, what happens?
Well, that does happen sometimes because a customer may have been at home when they left, their refrigerator was on. They come at the end of the day and it was not off. Of course, as I said, we do keep records of all these events. So if the customer, cannot give us the exact time, but when they give us the day, if we know, for example, we had a particular event in Girodel and the customer said, well, when I came at 5, I noticed my fridge was not working. Our records would indicate that on that particular date at, let's say, 9 o'clock, we had an event. So yes, we work around that if a customer was not at home at the particular time the outage took place.
What are some of the measures? I know one of the questions or some of the information required on that form states, what measures have you been or did you take any measures so as to prevent that kind of occurrence in terms of your equipment or your appliances getting damaged? What do we expect the customer to do?
Well, yes, and I'm glad you brought that up because a number of customers invest in very expensive equipment and they have little or no protection at all. I was one of those customers, and I recall speaking to a Domlec officer who deals with claims, and he advised me to get a voltage regulator and place that on my fridge. If you go, so customers, just visit those major electrical shops that we have in Dominica, and ask them for a voltage regulator, ask them for other equipment. They may have other devices that can be used to protect your refrigerators, your television, your washing machines. But this particular one, the voltage regulator, it's a very small device. You simply plug it into your wall and you plug the refrigerator, the appliance onto it. So what it does in effect is absorb those voltage regulations and it protects your equipment. So customers, yes, do get equipment to protect your appliances.
I know the customer is going to say, Domlec is just going to put us under more expense. Apart from all what we have already, you said it me to get a voltage regulator. I mean to protect my equipment. Yes, it may be important, but the customer may be saying, it's just an added expense to them.
Well, one could say, for example, that if one is asked to wear a helmet while riding a motorcycle, that is an expense. But gauge that expense against the price, the cost, if you can put a cost on your life. So the same thing, you invest in heavy equipment. Yes, it is an expense, but it is an expense that is worth making because it will protect an equipment, a device that is much more expensive than the cost of that item. The particular item that I referred to, I think it costs in the region of somewhere around $100, maybe just above $100. It is worth the investment because your equipment may suffer damage not as a result of a scheduled outage of Domlec. If you have, for example, a storm and you have lightning and thunder and these weather conditions, they can affect your equipment, and Domlec are not responsible for those events. So it is in your interest to protect your equipment.
Okay, let's go back to claims a little bit. A customer comes in, the customer files a claim. We take the customer's information, we file it because we've been getting quite a number of claims in recent times. What should the customer do? I will come back to the Domlec aspect of it. But in the meantime, the customer has submitted that claim. My equipment has suffered damage, my appliance has suffered damage. What should the customer do after they have filed this claim?
Well, the first thing I would say is walk with your telephone because the first thing we will do in terms of contact with the customer is call the customer to arrange a visit. We have contractors, apart from Domlec workers, who do some level of investigation at the initial stage. Those cases are assigned to independent contractors, and they are given the customer, the customer's telephone number. And so they will try to reach the customer so that they can come in and examine the equipment. And if necessary, take it away for repair, or sometimes the repair can be performed within the customer's residence itself. Or sometimes ascertain that the particular damage was not as a result of Domlec's outage. So the customer must have their telephone ready, and then we'll do our part. I said, I understand you have a question regarding our own responsibility, so I'll answer that at that stage.
Yes, Paul, but so the customer comes in, the customer puts a claim in, the customer's equipment is damaged, they wait for Domlec to send the technicians to look at it and to ascertain whether it was Domlec's fault or not. So you're telling me that the customer must not get anybody else to look at the equipment, so they get another technician or something. Is that the case, or should the customer in the meantime get somebody to look at it, or wait until Domlec arrives?
The customer should not get somebody to look at it and tamper with it, because it's going to compromise the equipment in terms of determining whether the fault was in fact Domlec's, or whether the equipment was damaged as a result of that event. So the customer should not have somebody else tamper with the equipment. Wait on us. We will first ascertain that, in fact, at the time the customer indicated that the damage was suffered by the equipment, we'll ascertain that there was, in fact, an event that could have led with that. So we'll examine our records, determine whether there was an outage, whether it was at that particular time, whether there was some major voltage fluctuation. And once we have determined that there was in fact an event at that particular time, in that specific location, given the address that the customer has indicated on the form. We will then proceed to do further investigation, assign it to a contractor. A Domlec officer himself may go visit the customer's premises after having contacted the customer, and then we will take it from there in terms of taking the equipment for examination and repair.
What happens though, Paul, if a customer has more than one claim? My TV, my fridge, my microwave, my computer, I've made claims for all these items. When we go to the customer's residence, do we look at it as one, and do we address all the issues, or are there specific contractors who will deal with specific equipment or appliances?
We have, well, first of all, the form makes allowance for various equipment that can be, that could have been damaged. So it's not just one particular equipment.
Yeah.
So you are required to list your various appliances that get damaged. And depending on the appliances and the availability of contractors at the time, they will be assigned. So one contractor may be able to deal with all of them, or it may be that we can assign the refrigerator to one contractor and the other equipment to another. So it depends on availability, on the competencies of the contractor, and so on. For the refrigerators, the bigger items, we prefer assigning those to contractors that have had proven experience, proven specialization in those areas, and so on. So those will be assigned to them. But all equipment that suffered damage will be considered for compensation.
Paul, the burning question on everybody's mind: why the delay? What is preventing us now from addressing those claims within a short period of time? Because if my television is damaged, my television is my comfort. I need to have my television working within a few days or so on. But we hear the concern from the customers that the processing of these claims are taking too long, and they are out of their equipment and their appliances for too long a time. What is preventing us from addressing those things ASAP?
Well, the challenge that creates a problem in the first place is capacity in relation to generation capacity. The processing of the claims is a capacity problem as well. This time it's a human resource capacity issue, and specifically the availability of contractors to do that. That's one thing, capacity. But of course, another issue is the sheer volume of claims that we are getting. This is not normal times when we would have had maybe 3 claims in a given month, 4 claims. But lately, we've been having quite a number of claims. In fact, if I may give you that figure, on the 26th of September, that would have been somewhere around Wednesday or so last week. We received just in that single day 25 claims.
Yes, quite a bit.
The following day, we received 15 claims. So we have quite a number of claims to process in a very limited time. And of course, we need to take time to examine the equipment. Sometimes we have challenges getting particular spare parts, components to repair some of the equipment. Some of the customers have very sophisticated equipment that they acquired out of state. And some of the components required for repairing them may not be on island, and they have to be ordered. So we do appreciate the inconvenience this causes customers, but we are doing our best to process those claims and have them finalized in as short a time as possible. So do bear with us, because these are not normal times. And based on the circumstances I described, it's taking a little longer to process the claims that the customers would really want.
Yes, so we talk about the claim. Paul, how can the customer get that claim? How can we get that form? Where is it? You know, how can the customer access that form?
Okay, in various ways. The customer, once it's convenient to do so, can come to our offices at the front desk, both in Portsmouth, in Roseau. They can request a copy of the claim form. They can fill it right at the office and just hand it over to the customer service clerks who are there, and they will take it and pass it on to the appropriate persons. They can go on our website. The claim is downloaded on our website. It's on our Facebook page. They can go there and download the claim itself, fill it, scan it, and send it back, email it to us. They can call. There's a particular number. Call the normal Domlec numbers. Anybody can pick up and they would assist them in getting a claim forwarded to them. Or if they want a particular number, they can call 275-7540, because that person specifically focuses on accommodating customers who request claim forms. Or they can send an email to Alex, that's ALEX, capital A, that is capital ALEX .honore, that's capital HONORE at domlec.com, DOMLEC
DM.
.dm.
Yeah.
Or they may email as well, josiana.antoine@domlec.dm, that is capital J, small letters follow, so capital J, then OSIANNA capital A, then NTOINE at domlec, DOMLEC.dm.
Okay, so there are various ways that the customer can access the form. While the customer have the form, they have filled out the form, they have put in the relevant information. Does it necessitate that the customer comes into the office to bring the form? Can they scan it and email it? Would we accept it like that? Then the customer has to actually walk to either the Portsmouth or the Roseau office to deliver that form. Can they just email it in or something?
Yeah, which is why I provided the email addresses. So
Okay,
the email addresses can be used not only to request a copy of the form, but also to send it in. So they can scan the form and simply email it to us. They don't have to physically come to the office to do that.
Okay, so you can access the form via Domlec's website. It is www.domlec.dm, so you can access the form there. You can also call 275-7540. You can send in an email to alex.honore@domlec.dm or josiana.antoine@domlec.dm. To request a form, we can send the form to you via email. You can download the form from the website and you can fill in the form and also send the form back to us, the same addresses that we have, the same email addresses that we have announced. Paul, our time is coming to an end. What is your final word as we go forward? And remember, we've been talking about claims. We're talking about the process for filing claims, the process after you have put in a claim, what you do, what you don't do. And of course, Paul has indicated, because of the volume of claims that we've been receiving over the past couple of months, it is really a capacity issue, so to speak, in terms of getting the technicians to go around in all the various communities around the island to be able to begin the process of the investigation as to if it is and was in fact Domlec's power outage that damaged the equipment or appliances. So Paul, as we end, what is your final words to our customers at this time? Paul, I'm not hearing you. You're on mute.
I would first like to thank the customers for the patience that they have exercised. I know a number of them have experienced a lot of frustration with regard to being deprived of the use of their appliances. But when they come to us and we explain the situation, most of them are very understanding. So for the patience that you have exercised, we wish to thank you for that. Those events happening are entirely beyond our control. Sometimes when the customers recognize that as employees of Domlec, we're affected as well. This morning, I was there with my micro. 3 minutes after I put my tea in my microwave, the power went out. So we are affected as well. So just bear with us. Still, we are doing all within our power to address this capacity issue. and hopefully very soon, I can't give a time, and it's not in my power to do that. But bear with us until we resolve the situation. With respecting the claims, we'll continue to do as much as we can to process those claims as quickly as possible. But I explained the circumstances that prevent us from doing it as quickly as we want to. So bear with us for that time, please. So thank you for listening, and thank you for the patience you have exercised.
Okay, thank you so much. I was speaking with Paul Moses. Paul Moses is our commercial manager. And again, we were talking claims. So again, we really want to thank you for your patience as we continue to manage the available capacity that we have. As Paul indicated, we're hoping that, sooner rather than later, we can get out of this issues that we've been facing for the last couple of months. And we really want to thank you. So again, we've been live on DBS Radio, Kyrie FM, and Voice of Life Radio. And of course, you will hear this repeated program on Q95 and DA Vibes at 12:30. We'll be back on Friday with another topic of interest as we continue to manage capacity. Join us again on Friday for another program. On behalf of all of us at Domlec, and again, thank you, Paul Moses, for being my guest. Have a pleasant day.
Thank you. God bless.
Thank you.
We bring you the power.
Domlec is keeping you updated as we work to restore full generation capacity. Join us every Monday and Friday at 12 noon on DBS Radio, Kyrie FM, and Voice of Life